Opiates are the leading cause of accidental death in the United States.
According to the CDC, in 2014, nearly 500,000 people lost their lives to prescription drug overdose. Now, every 2 hours, someone dies from it.
ABC 17's Ashley Strohmeyer is digging into what's being done to stop it in this special report.
The American Society of Addiction Medicine says in the past 15 years, the amount of prescription drugs sold in the U.S. quadrupled, yet there's no change in the overall amount of pain Americans report. Reports show just a week ago, pop icon Prince died of a possible opioid overdose. The CDC released new guidelines for doctors prescribing opioid scripts. They say the lowest dose should be given to patients unless they are terminally ill or cancer patients. Not only do doctors call it an epidemic, but President Obama and Missouri Senator Claire McCaskill have long referred to it as an epidemic as well. Addiction specialists say in order to stop the opioid epidemic, it starts with prevention.
We might not get the help to them, enough help, soon enough because they waited a long time.
According to the American Society of Addiction Medicine, 78 Americans die each day from an opioid overdose, and they aren't your typical junkie on the street.
They're people in your community. They're your neighbors. They're people in your faith community. They're your loved ones. They're people you would not expect. Yes.
Heather Harlan is a prevention addiction specialist at Phoenix Health Programs in Columbia. She says right now, the most common age and gender of someone coming to her for help are 12 to 17-year-old girls, but it doesn't stop after treatment and is not limited to any certain age.
If they go out and relapse with IV drug use, they're at much higher risk because they think they can use at the level they used when they stopped.
Harlan cites celebrities such as Philip Seymour Hoffman, who overdosed in 2014 from a cocktail of heroin and opioids. Doctors at University Hospital also weighed in on the epidemic.
And this has become, as you know, a national problem that's really come onto the radar not only of healthcare providers, but of legislators, of political leaders.
Right now, Missouri is the only state in the entire nation without a prescription drug monitoring program, which is targeted at stopping what's known as doctor shopping. Some would say only one senator is a key reason why we do not have one.
When you keep people from being able to get prescription drugs, they turn to heroin because it's cheaper and accessible. Then they die of heroin overdoses.
Fentanyl is a drug that is commonly given to patients with severe pain and is 50 to 100 times more addictive than heroin.
Thankfully, now that we've started to recognize how big of a problem this is, we've really become better at balancing the need for pain control and pain relief.
Young people typically have their first encounter with an opioid after a sports injury or their wisdom teeth taken out.
Even though your young person may be very trustworthy, again, this is not about the character of your young person or your teenager. This is about physical consequences in the brain.
The CDC says addiction is a primary chronic and relapsing brain disease. Studies show the use of opioids physically rework the structure of your brain, making it more difficult to kick the addiction. Not only is there addiction that comes along with prescription drug abuse, but a lot of legal consequences as well.
Again, they're basically synthetic heroin, and if you use those that are prescribed to somebody else, there are a lot of serious consequences that go along with that.
If people can't get the pills, they'll turn to heroin. People tend to think prescription pills are safe to take because they are prescribed by doctors and regulated by the government. However, in 2012, nearly 260 million scripts were written for opiates, which is more than enough to give every American adult their own bottle of pills.
If you have prescription pills you'd like to get rid of, there is a prescription drug take-back event in mid-Missouri this weekend. You can check out abc17news.com for a full list of locations.